Hello and welcome to Crafting with You, where I bring you a wide range of crafting tutorials and ideas. Today I'm going to show you how to upcycle empty rice and feed bags and turn them into these really super useful reusable bags. Rice and feed bags are very sturdy, so they're the perfect material to make these bags out of. So if you want to learn how to upcycle your empty bags, follow along with me. Let's get started. If you're using a 20-pound rice bag, you'll need two of them to make one bag. If you are using a pet or a feed bag in a bigger quantity, like a 50-pound bag, you'll only need one. Instead of giving you hard measurements, I'm going to give you a guide on how to make your pieces so you can make any size bag you want. For your front and back pieces, you need two of them, and you'll see a measurement A and a measurement B. These are your side panels. You'll see measurement C and B, so the two B's have to match. There you have your bottom panel with an A and C measurement. Match that up to your front and back and side panels. You'll need two pieces to make your handles, and I did give you hard measurements here just because I feel like it's a generic measurement. And this one will give you a 9-inch drop, but you can make your handles as long or as short as you like. And here are all my pieces cut out: a front and back panel, two side panels, a bottom panel, and two handles. We're going to start with the handles. Take one of the pieces and then you're going to flip it to the back side, or what I call the inside of the bag. And you're going to fold this lengthwise into thirds. So go ahead and fold one side and then the other side over. Fold it so that it measures about an inch in the width. So when you have that all folded, go ahead and do that to your other handle also. And what I like to do is I use binder clips to keep those ends closed. We are now going to transfer over to our sewing machine and put a running stitch right down the middle of this handle. So I'm here sewing on my sewing machine, and this will be the one and only time you see me sewing throughout this whole video. I just didn't want to bore you with shots of me sewing, but you can use any type of thread. Regular cotton thread is what I'm using, but do practice with some material first to get your tension correct. Both of my handles are now sewn, and this is what it looks like. This is the side I sewed, and this is the back side. We're now going to attach the handles to the front and back panels, but before we do that, I like to make some marks on the handles to give me a guide to where I'm going to sew. So lay your handles down and get to the 1-inch mark on each end, and we're going to do 1/8 of an inch in from the 1-inch mark. So just those two marks right there, and then I'm going to join those two spots and give me my guidelines. To ensure your handles are placed correctly, you're going to make a few marks on your front and back panels. First, you're going to find the midpoint and make a little mark there. Then you're going to measure 4.5 inches across, so just split that 2 1/4 on each side, and that is where your handles will be placed. My marks are down, and now I'm going to get ready to attach it. Make sure that you are placing, this is that sewn side where you have that loose end, that is going to be facing upwards. So you got your marks, place your first side down right by the mark, and then again I'm using binder clips and clip this down. Now you're going to get to the other side, you're going to loop that over, place it next to the mark, take a binder clip, and then secure that down. We're going to go back to the sewing machine and now sew those handles down. We're going to use what I like to call a box plus X sewing technique, and this provides nice reinforcement to the handle area. So first you're going to sew across right at that guideline we made. Then we're going to pivot and sew down. We're going to pivot again, sew to the side, right at the guideline, pivot again, sew up, and then we're going to go diagonal down. And then you're going to go up that one side that you already sewed, and then go back diagonal down to that point. And when you're all done, this is what it should look like. Here are both sides of it. And if I want to give you like a little tip or trick for when you sew this, sometimes it's hard to maneuver around your sewing machine when you're doing the pivots. I like to roll it up and use binder clips and clip the side. So then you're able to pivot around a lot easier rather than if you had a big panel just flopping around. Now finish off the back panel doing the exact same thing. Once your handles are attached, we're going to make a fold across the top. So measure down about 1 inch on both panels. And we're also going to do this on the side panels. So make sure you're making that 1 inch mark down on both the side panels too. Then you're going to just go ahead and take one of the panels, flip it onto the inside, and then fold it down. And there you go. And now you're going to repeat this with the other panel and also the side panels. Now we're going to attach the bottom piece to the side panels. So go ahead and get your bottom piece, take one of the side panels, and then we're going to put the wrong sides together so that the two right sides are showing on the outside. So line up that edge. Again, use a binder clip or anything that you can to clip those two together and hold those two pieces together. Do that to one side and also to the other side. This is the beginning of the bag starting to take its structure. We're going to do a straight stitch at a 1/4 inch seam right across that edge there. But we're going to stop and end before the end of the bag. So we're going to start at a 1/2 inch in and stop a 1/2 inch before the end of the bag. And this is to make the sewing of the side panels easier later on. So go ahead and make a mark at the 1/2 inch point on each end, and that'll be your guide on where to start and stop your sewing. And now my sides are all sewn on, and I'm going to move on to attaching the front and the back panels. Lay your bottom and side panels flat like this. Take one of the front or the back, doesn't matter which one. And then you're also going to make those 1/2 inch marks right on these panels also. So you're going to start and stop at that point. Lay this down right against the bottom panel. And because you left that 1/2 inch where you didn't sew, you're able to match up those corners. Now take your clips and attach those edges together. Go across to the other side, flip that little piece out right there of the side panel, and then clip it on right there. You're going to do a straight stitch all across the bottom, but remember to start and stop at those 1/2 inch points. And now my front and back panels are all attached. We're almost to the end. At this point, we're going to be finishing off the top of the panels. This is where I had to do that 1 inch fold over. You'll be doing a straight stitch across that fold. But the reason I had you wait until this point is because we have to ensure that the edges match up when you sew them. So when you take your panels and you put them together like this and you get to the very top, you have to make sure those two corners meet and one is not longer than the other. So as you can see here, this one meets, so we're good. So let me give you a close-up of that. They meet perfectly. Now when we look at this back panel and I line up the edges, go up the side, you're going to see that this one is slightly off. So look at that. So the side panel is a little higher. So all you have to do is then edit. We're going to move that down a little bit like this. And then now when we put this up against the back panel, we're going to see that it meets perfectly. So now go over to your sewing machine and make a running stitch across the panel. Make sure you're lining up the other end, also the other side of the bag, to make sure that those corners are matching up. And if they are, that's perfect. Nothing to do, but again here, this one is not matching. I just have to bring that side panel down, that end of it, a little down further, and then it's gonna match. And then now I can do that running stitch across all the panels to finish off those edges. So I made my running stitch across all the tops of my panels, as you can see right here. And now you're going to join all of your sides together. So take those two corners, you're going to line them up, and then you're going to line the whole side together. So make sure that your panels are pivoted correctly, and then you're going to take your binder clips and then clip that side down. Go up that panel and then clip it, and then go up to the very top and then put another clip to finish that off. Now you're going to start at the very end of the bag, at the very edge. Don't worry about those 1/2 inch things that we put there. And you're doing a running stitch at a 1/4 of an inch seam all the way up to the top of the bag. And then repeat the process on the remaining 3 sides. When you are done, this is what it's going to look like. Your bottom panel, just go ahead and straighten those corners out because you might have a little bit of folding when you get there, but flattening it out with your fingers is good enough. Here is a full view of the bag. I think it turned out amazing. It is big enough to hold all your groceries. It's pretty much the size of a regular reusable bag and just as sturdy. I love the artwork that's on this rice bag as it is, so that when I made this into a reusable bag, I love it even more because it's just so pretty. The last thing you need to do to finish off this whole thing is to fold it down so it lays flat. So go ahead and grab the 2 side panels and you're going to make a crease right there. Do the same thing for the other side, make a crease right there, turn it over onto the back, and you're going to flip up that bottom panel and then make a crease right across. And now your bag is going to lay flat. So here are a couple of the bags I've made. The one on the left is one of my prototypes, and I kind of messed up on this because that running stitch that goes across the top, I did that at the very end thinking I was smart, but it wasn't because that edge sticks up, that seam, and so it kind of has a trapezoid shape. No problem using the bag, just aesthetically it wasn't pleasing to me. A couple of points: if you're using a feed bag, make sure that you're cleaning out the inside with soap and water really well, or else it'll leave an odor. Also, be careful when you're going through multiple layers because it does get a little thick, and I broke a needle when I first tried to do this. So if you're going through multiple layers, make sure you're going very slow and very steady so that you don't do the same thing. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Crafting with You.